Welcome back! Today on Dialed In DIY, I'm teaching you a very effective way to clean bacon grease to end up with a product that's great for candles, cooking, soap, fire starters, and so much more. In a previous video, which is linked in the description below, I taught you how to make bacon candles that smell fantastic. At the beginning of that, I used a process for cleaning the bacon grease, and we're going to repeat it here because it has so many other great uses as well. So, let's move forward with how to clean the bacon bits. The materials you see here are going to be what you need to help clean up that bacon grease. This is going to take out even the fine sediment that may be left over, and we're going to start by taking a small box about the size of a shoebox and cutting a crisscross pattern in the top and then making a hole around each of the sides. This particular crisscross pattern needs to open up big enough to take one of these cans, which you're going to cut the top off of, then turn it over and use something to poke some holes in the bottom. From here, you just want to grab the stick the size of a broom handle, turn it over, put it inside the can, and then put the can on a hard surface and push down. The goal is we want to pop the center of the bottom of the can back out so that the holes reach the bottom, which will allow fluid to come through. I then took a wire hanger and just bent 4 pieces that look a lot like the image you see here. They don't have to be the exact same. The effect that you want is just so that there's a bend at the top that will keep them from falling through the hole, but then bent back underneath to help support the can to keep the can from falling through the hole once you start using it as a filter. If you remember, I previously did a video about filtering your cooking oil so that you could use it for other purposes. In that case, we had a cloth filter, but now we're taking these coffee filters, and no matter what size you have, you just need to fold it down so that your cone will fit inside your can. We're then going to use some paper clips to keep it open so that once you start to pour the grease inside, the filter doesn't collapse on itself. When I first gathered the grease, I wasn't ready to use it for a project, so I put it in a can and stuck it in the fridge, but then it was too thick to use. So I took a pot, put it on an electric skillet, and got some water heated up. Put my can inside of there until it melted the oil or the grease back down, and then started pouring it into my filter. Notice that there's a can underneath there to collect the drippings that come through, but this filtration process really takes out a lot of gunk, as you can see in this picture. I'd at one point pulled the one filter out and replaced it with a second filter because it started to slow down a little too much. You can actually make it a little bit easier by doing what I did. Use a slotted spoon and remove the bigger chunks first while it's still in the pan. Then use a couple of coffee filters as you get through this process so that you end up with a very clean byproduct. When it's still hot, you can actually notice it looks like a really clean cup of tea, but when it's done, it's going to have a caramel look as it's cooled off. If you're not ready to use it, put it in a sealed container and keep it in the refrigerator until you need it. I've read from many chefs that it can last for at least 6 months this way, so enjoy! Thank you for watching. Please press like and then subscribe. There will be more Dialed In DIY to come.